Hello, I'm Chloe, a Filipino homeschooler in Dubai. I love
Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. And to those who are new to my channel, I am Melon, the CEO and founder of the Melrish Studio. We are a team of event and wedding photographers and cinematographers, but I normally don't call us photographers and cinematographers. We call ourselves storytellers. And you can like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Melrish Studio. The link is down below. So my personal channel is about business, money, parenting, homeschooling. And to those who personally know me, know that I have started homeschooling just this year because I finally convinced my husband that we go for homeschooling instead of the traditional schooling. This video is not in any way trying to convince you to do homeschooling as well, as we know that homeschooling can be challenging and it's not for every family. But I just want to share my experience as a first-time homeschooler with no background or no experience in homeschooling before. On this video, we'll be sharing why we decided to homeschool our kids, challenges we faced in the beginning, and the tips and lessons I've learned along the way that hopefully I can share with you, especially to those who are starting homeschooling as well. So let me quickly tell you about my family background. So I was born and raised in the Philippines. My sister and I was still young when my father started working abroad. He worked as an OFW in Saudi. He only goes back home whenever his contract finishes or during his annual leave, which is just once a year. And one time it took us a couple of years to see him again. It was basically my mom who raised us, and my father sends us letters, and me and my sister would wait by the doorstep for the mailman to come, and we get snail mail from my father, which was really cute back then. And because everything now is just digital, and for me, I still prefer snail mail because it's more personal, involves more emotions having to receive a snail mail compared to an email. So even though my father worked abroad and was absent most of the time, my mother was able to raise us with good family values. Whenever my father would go home for his vacation, we would make sure that we have a meal together, we pray together, we spend a lot of time together, because it was just that one time in a year that my father goes home and spends time with us. So whenever he's having a vacation, we do a lot of things together. We play a lot of board games, we do videoke, we go out, we eat out. It doesn't necessarily have to be in an expensive restaurant, but we do spend a lot of time together watching movies and just talking. So that's the family values that my mom has instilled to us, that until now that I carry and value until now. So I came to Dubai in 2004 and I met my husband Arish here, and we got married in 2008. My first daughter came in 2010 and my son came in 2014. I was working full-time as a visual merchandiser since I came here, and if you watched our video about how we started our business, you know that we had a challenge in 2009 when someone ran away with our money and we have to pay up the loans that we had with the bank. And if you have not watched that video, the link is down below. So starting 2009, I was working full-time as a visual merchandiser, and we were working most weekends shooting events as a side hustle. And it was only in 2014 that I decided to quit my full-time job and focus on the Melrish Studio full-time. But it did not mean that I have more time for myself and my family. When I started the Melrish Studio in 2014, I actually had to spend more time focusing on the business because I had to manage the whole business by myself. I had to do HR management, social media, customer service, financial planning, accounting, bookkeeping. So starting a business doesn't really mean that you have time for yourself. Starting a business involves a lot of sacrifice, and without the right support, it's really difficult to survive in the entrepreneurial life. So being a working mom requires you to balance being a mom and being an entrepreneur and being a leader of your team. So my main reason why I thought about homeschooling our kids was because of this schedule. Our job requires us to work mostly on weekends because a lot of events and weddings happen on weekends. And this is the time my kids are home, and instead of spending time with them, most weekends we are shooting, and on weekdays when we are home already, they're in school, and by the time they get home, they'll be tired, and we sometimes also even have meetings on weekdays and a lot of other work that couldn't spend time with them anymore. So our weekdays goes like this normally. So we actually moved close to their school so we could spend less time in traveling and in the traffic. So we wake up about 6:15 and we have breakfast and get ready, and we leave home around 7:30. We try to make sure we leave before 7:30, so it will just take us about 15 minutes to reach the gate of their school and for us to be able to drop them in the classrooms. And then they finish school at about 3 o'clock, but I make sure that I'm there by the gate before 2:30. Otherwise, if I come later, then there's a long queue of cars and then I have to wait for about 30 to 45 minutes to be able to go in and get them. And then by the time we reach home about 4:15, 4:30, they will have some snacks or lunch. Then they will be too tired to go out or too tired to do other stuff. And then we have dinner together. But sometimes if we have meetings with clients, some of the clients that we have, especially the wedding clients, they come around after their work to meet us. So we have to go back to office to meet them. And then by the time we reach home, we have missed dinner, or we then have dinner and then we put the kids to bed by 8:30 or 9. And some Thursdays we have events that we have to cover till late evening, and then I come home, the kids are already asleep. And then if we even shoot late on Thursday nights, we miss church on a Friday. And Friday church is very important for us. It's the time for us to worship together as a family. And my mom would scold me a lot, will tell me that, this is your family is your first priority. She would remind me that I should spend time with my kids. I have older friends who will always remind me that this is the formative years of the children, and spending time with them and molding them and building a strong foundation is critical for their emotional growth and emotional intelligence. Basically, our schedule was the biggest factor that affected our decision to homeschool our kids. So I've been trying to convince my husband to homeschool our kids for a year, because my husband knows that homeschooling the kids requires a lot of dedication, requires a lot of time, and it needs both parents to be there for the kids, to support them educationally, emotionally, and to support each other as husband and wife, because it takes a lot of stress. Honestly, with a few months of homeschooling, I'm already seeing fruits of our labor and our dedication in homeschooling the kids. Another reason why I wanted to homeschool our kids is because I wanted to teach them some lessons that they would not normally learn in school. So one of those lessons is entrepreneurship. I know maybe some schools have built them in their curriculum, but in my children's old school, I don't think they have it in their curriculum this young. I want my children to value money and value the work that is involved in earning money, and I want them to be able to be practical and to learn self-discipline. And by the way, I have a 8-year-old daughter who's turning 9 and a 4-year-old son who's turning 5, and I'm so proud of them and I just love them to bits. But if you think I'm a cool mom, I'm a very tough mom, and I'm the type of parent that would not buy them anything that they wish or want. So we have a reward system that I have planned for my family, that they get rewards only when they read books. Chores they have to do at home. So this was one of the major reasons also that I wanted to do homeschooling, because I wanted them to learn to do chores. Because when they were going to school, they wake up, they get ready, and they leave. But now that we're homeschooling them, as soon as they wake up, they have breakfast, the first thing they need to do is make up their bed. We try to include chores in their curriculum. Like for example, last month, I taught them how to fold their clothes, which they normally don't do. So before I decided to do homeschooling, I did a lot of research. I made a lot of lists that I wanted my children to learn, like the age-specific chores that they need to learn. Because I was surprised when I met a few millennials don't even know how to cook rice or boil an egg. And I don't want my kids to grow up that way. I want to equip them with the practical lessons first, and then they can choose their specialty or the subject that they want to focus on. And like I said before, like when my children were going to school, they rarely have time for extracurricular activities. My daughter likes to draw and my son seems to like music. So now that they're doing homeschooling, we're able to enroll them in piano lessons, and they're doing piano lessons at home. And my son is doing drum lessons, and my daughter is able to explore more of her creative writing and drawing. Although I have a list of curriculum that I have in mind, I have not inquired directly with these educational organizations, but based on friends' recommendations, we signed up with Lighthouse Christian Academy because I wanted to infuse biblical principles and lessons. So my kids' biblical foundation is strong. That's why we chose this curriculum for my kids. So there are a lot of curriculums out there that would suit your needs. And so we also tried to choose a curriculum that would be accredited in case the kids want to go to college in the US or back in the Philippines. So one of the common questions I get when they hear that I'm homeschooling our kids, how about their socialization? In school, they have classmates, they get friends. So I also had the same question before we decided to do homeschooling. So I did the research, and there are a few homeschooling groups here in Dubai that you can join. One of them is DUNEHA, which is Dubai and Northern Emirates Homeschoolers Association, and this is a closed group that you can join once they validate that you're a legit homeschooler for the security of the parents and the kids. But they're a great support group, and you can arrange play date, and there's a monthly meetup, and there's a book club, and they also have field trip for the kids who are doing homeschooling. Socialization is not going to be an issue, especially if you put an effort in making sure that your kids meet up with other homeschoolers. Every week we also go to weekly church and weekly Awana meetups. So this is like a group of kids that meet up every week to learn about the Bible and to learn about God's Word and have games and have just fun. Do your kids get bored at home? Well, I get that question a lot, and sometimes my kids do get bored, but I make sure that we have a schedule that we go to the library once a week, we go to the park now that the weather is cooler, and we go on a field trip once a month. So I made a list of places that is good for field trips that I make sure that the kids will learn something. I prepare a questionnaire after we visit that place. Before we visit that place also, I prepare the lessons that they need to expect to learn when visiting that place. I also bring my kids with me when I go to the office just for a change of environment, and it's good for them to see how we manage the office, and they meet up with my team, and it's a good way for them to be conversing with adults as well, so they can talk with different age groups. Another question that most of them also asked myself was, if in case homeschooling doesn't work, will they be able to go back to traditional schooling? Well, the answer is yes. Most schools here, they just need to assess the child, and if your child was homeschooled with an accredited curriculum, then you can easily have them join back the traditional schooling. And if you want a KHDA approved homeschooling curriculum, then you can try iAcademy, because the only homeschooling organization here in Dubai that is accredited by the KHDA. And like I said in the beginning of the video, homeschooling is not for everyone. It takes a lot of dedication, effort, and willingness of the child to learn and be homeschooled. My children loves homeschooling and they don't want to go back to the normal schooling. I hope it continues for the upcoming years, because right now they're having a good balance of extracurricular activities. They have swimming lessons in Fifth Republic, and they have park meetups once a month, and we also have field trips once a month, and they have these weekly meetups with other kids, and they get to work in the office as interns when I bring them to work. They have also learned a lot of new chores, and I have seen that they have become more responsible and they're able to develop their passion. Like my daughter has written a lot of short stories lately and drawn a lot of cartoon drawing, and she's very happy and very content with homeschooling right now. That only I think mom is having the hardest time here, because I need to wake up earlier and prepare their book and make sure that they follow their schedule. So I have their schedule back there on the bulletin board, and I have to plan every month's activity because I have to plan their art activities, something new. Then I have also added money subject in their curriculum, and so I've added social studies and culture in their curriculum, because especially here in Dubai, you meet a lot of people from different nationalities. It's very important that we teach them tolerance and we teach them the different cultures and how to respect other nationalities and other religions. And one of the subjects that I think most of the schools have not taught children right now is good manners. So I make sure that these are the first things that I teach them now that they have just started homeschooling. So yeah, so I hope I have answered a few of your questions, and if you have additional questions, you can write down the comment below or send me a message, and I will try to answer as best as I can. So yeah, so my final advice for parents out there is that it is very important for us to build a strong foundation for our children. Career or work is not an excuse for us not to spend time with them. We should be there to guide them and lead them and make sure we give enough love and spend enough time with them. And it's important that we teach them grit, we encourage them, we show them that we love them. Do what you know best for your children. but it's very important that you be there for them. I know career and work is important for us to provide for our families, but nothing replaces quality time with your family. So I wish that you all be able to spend time with your kids, like quality time, not sitting there with them with your iPhones. Make sure you converse with them, you communicate with them, and just have fun with them. Take them on play date, have a date with them, take them out for a movie. Hopefully you were able to get good advice from me, and I'll be sharing more videos about homeschooling, like our schedule, how to plan your day, how to plan your month, what are the places that you can go to that are educational, that will be a supplement for the curriculum that you have chosen, and the extracurricular activities that you can join. So that's it for now. So if you like this video, subscribe and hit the share button below, and tune in for our next episode.